You've probably heard people rave about back-to-back long runs. You've probably seen it on the Facebook groups where people are telling you to do 30 miles on a Saturday and 25 miles on a Sunday. But you're probably here because you want the exact how, not just the vibes. In today's video, I'm going to give you a simple framework that will tell you who should use them, how long each day should be, how often you should schedule them, what to eat, how to recover. And this is also that you don't dig yourself some stupid hole. If you get this right, then you will show up with real race-proof durability. If you get it wrong, you can knacker yourself and ruin your training for weeks. Now, I'm Nick Hancock from Maximum Mileage Coaching. I'm a USCA ultra running coach. I'm UK athletics licensed. I'm a sub-3 marathoner, and I am a competitive ultra runner too. I help busy athletes hit PBs without destroying themselves. Now, one promise for this video, you will walk away with a plug and play progression that you can drop into your ultra training plan this month. There are three common mistakes that absolutely wreck people with back-to-backs, and I'm going to call them out and I'll give you the fixes as we go. So first of all, who actually needs them and who doesn't? Back-to-backs or B2Bs are two purposeful long sessions on consecutive days. They are brilliant for teaching your legs to perform under residual fatigue, which is the exact feeling in the back half of an ultra or even a hilly marathon. But they're not a badge of honor. They are a tool. Let's have a look. What does the evidence say? So training under managed fatigue can improve that fatigue resistance and economy under stress. The art is the dosing. So, the adaptation is greater than the cost. So do this. Use your back-to-backs. If your goal event is a 50k plus or any course with long climbs or descents, or if you struggle after 3 or 4 hours of running and you need that time on feet without spiking a single day load. If you're peaking for a flat road marathon and life is busy, then one quality long run most weeks is enough. Back-to-backs are going to be very optional if you're doing a marathon block. So some of those mistakes and some of those fixes, everybody does them, so I will. That's what I hear loads of people do. Oh, everybody does them for their ultramarathon training, so I must do them too. You need to decide by the course demands and life bandwidth. If you can't recover very well on Monday to Wednesday, then don't stack that fatigue on Saturday and Sunday on purpose. If you simply cannot recover from the work that you've done, then it's not wise to be trying to load that amount of running in one short space of time. You need to be able to recover. Question for you. What does your race ask of your legs after 4 hours? Is it runnable? Is it hike heavy? Or is it quad smashing descents? Set the guardrails, the caps, the effort and the frequency. Those guardrails, they will stop you turning back-to-backs into a silent overtraining block. We cap the duration and keep the effort honest and limit how often you run them. You don't need to do them every single week. The evidence on it says that more isn't better once you're past the stimulus needed to adapt. Time-based caps rather than distance protect you from chasing miles just for the ego. Just because somebody on that Facebook group was okay doing 30 miles one day and 20 miles the next day, it doesn't mean that that's right for you. Their 30-mile run and 20-mile run might not have had kids needing stuff done for them around it. They might not have worked on the following week. They might be a very experienced runner, or they might be a lot faster. So that 30 miles for them might have taken, let's say, 6 hours. What if that 30 miles for you took 8 hours? That's going to take a lot to recover from. So don't chase the ego. The best play is this. So Saturday, long run number 1, cap it at 5 hours or 22 miles, whichever comes first. mostly easy effort. If your race is runnable, you could include some short blocks at a little bit of a higher intensity or an all-day effort. If it's mountainous, then add in some of that controlled vert and hike practice, and that's where time-based comes into play much more when you've got a load of vert to do as well, because you are going to be on your feet for much longer. Long run number 2 on Sunday, keep that to 60 to 75% of Saturday's duration. Keep it truly easy. Make it flatter or softer if Saturday had big vert, or flip it. Short climbs, hike the reps if Saturday was quite flat. If you're at the competitive end of an ultra, you're sort of tussling it out for those top 10 sort of places or podiums, then the kind of thing that you could do on that Sunday run is add the last 2 or 3 miles in at a more moderate effort, especially uphill. That can really help you to finish strong and really put the hammer on somebody if you are competing for those higher paces. With regards to frequency, I tend to give them to my runners roughly every 2 to 3 weeks in the specific phase. So this is the phase as we are coming towards race day where our mileage is peaking. I tend not to give back-to-backs, vis-a-vis if you do a big back-to-back weekend where we're doing sort of 5 hours and then 3 hours, something like that, then the following week is not going to be 5 hours and 3 hours. It might be more like something like 4 hours and 90 minutes. So still not super short by any means, but it is certainly not 2 more massive back-to-backs. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people doing, is that they are doing these back-to-backs weekly because it feels hardcore, or because we need this massive volume for ultras. That isn't necessarily true. It is more about volume over time than any 1 or 2 particular big long runs or big back-to-back weekends. So the fix with this is to alternate with that single long run week to consolidate, and then the easy, hard, easy rule still applies. So make sure you keep your easy days easy. If you do a hard day the following day, make sure the next one after it is easy. Just think of it this way. If you were to cut 30 minutes off both days, would you recover faster and still get pretty much 100% of the stimulus? Probably. So the simple 8-week progression that I could give you here, which is going to include some cutbacks, that progression matters more than those big hero weekends. I just said it. Volume over time is much more important than any one huge weekend. We increase the time at fatigue, not the chaos. Progressive overload, this works best when the jump is modest and you respect those recovery weeks. So you can do this. So assume that your long run is, I'm going to assume that your long run is currently 2.5 to 3 hours. So week 1, single long run of 3 hours, Sunday, easy 60 minutes with a few strides if you feel okay for it. Week 2, take a little bit of a cutback. We'll do 2 hours long, Sunday, we'll do 45 to 60 minutes. Week 3, this is our big back-to-back number 1, first of all. So 3 hours on the Saturday, and then we're going to do 90 minutes on the Sunday, which is going to be a bit more flattish, and I would really want you to be practicing your fueling, particularly on that 90 minutes. Week 4, single long run. Now we'll step the length of the longest run up. We'll go to 3.5 to 4 hours. We might sprinkle in some uphill strides towards the end of that long run to keep the legs feeling snappy, to get a little bit of that running on tired legs, but in a different way. So we're not just adding more volume, we're going to just stack a little bit of intensity on top. And then on Sunday, we'll just do 45 minutes of nice, easy running just to help recovery. Week 5, we'll do 4 hours on the Saturday and then 2 hours on the Sunday. Depending on your race, we might include something like power hiking, or we could focus a little bit on some of those downhills to start the quad conditioning process. Week 6, we take a cut back. We do 2.5 to 3 hours long. Sunday, 45 to 60 minutes, and maybe some strides at the end of that 60 minutes. Week 7, we're going to do 4.5 to 5 hours, and this is going to be our biggest one, 2.5 to 3 hours, and respect your fatigue levels. If you are truly just really tired after that previous day, 4.5 to 5 hours worth of running, don't push it all the way to 3 hours if you are not feeling it, because I don't like the term junk miles, but if you're not getting the quality out of the run, it is better to dial it back, focus on your recovery, than try and push through and feel completely wrecked. The other thing with this weekend is to make sure that this is your dress rehearsal. Treat both runs as a dress rehearsal. Fueling, kit, everything, you name it. Pacing, intensity up those hills, the same as race day. Ideally, if you can, get out on the course itself and do a recce. And then final week, before we start that taper, that single last long run of 3 to 3.5 hours, with the last 30 minutes at a bit more of a moderate intensity. And then the following day on the Sunday, this is where we cut it right back to 30 to 40 minutes of an easy run, and then we really go into that taper. Now you can adjust up and down by 15 to 30 minutes here or there based on the history, the course you're doing. Don't make hero leaps. And also another one of those mistakes is turning that Sunday into a stealth tempo because you felt good after that big long run that you did the day before. Lock the effort in to conversational. The win on day 2 is showing up, getting those additional miles in, adding to that volume without pushing it too much. Remember, we're doing an ultra here. Whilst intensity should come at the right times, that is not the time to be whacking in a load of tempo because you suddenly felt good, because you might just knacker yourself on that Monday. So here's a question for you. Which weekend in that list would actually change your confidence the most? And where would you place it relative to race day? On that particular weekend, fuel like it's race day, both days. Remember, that's your dress rehearsal. Here's a little bit more food for thought for you. Pun intended. Under-fueling back-to-backs is the fastest road to injury, illness. You've got to be fueling those. They are not fasted misery fests. They are gut training and logistics training. You need to be practicing your fueling. That is the best opportunity for you to practice with all of your carbohydrate intake. This is where endurance improves. That output will improve. It reduces perceived effort. The gut adapts with that practice. And by the time you get to race day, it's not just the actual running on tired legs that is going to help you, but it's that concentrated volume along with all of the practice like gut training and with your kit as well. Another little thing to be mindful of on a back-to-back weekend, because you do your long run on the Sunday, I see it time and again where people will fuel really well on the Saturday because it's the big one, but then come the Sunday, they will punish themselves because they had so many gels and low GI foods and things the day before. Sunday, keep those carbs flowing. Don't punish yourself. If you're practicing those foods for the later stages of an ultra, then that is a great time to be testing them. That's where you should be testing your sweets, your gels, your chews, your cola, that sort of stuff. That is a great opportunity to be trialing it. Another thing to trial: caffeine. Start the dose on Saturday's run and then try the top-ups on Sunday and see if that impacts your sleep too. And as ever, don't try anything new on race day. One of the common mistakes I see people making is they go, I've got an iron gut and I'll be fine on race day. And they save all of those gels, all of those sweets, all of those chews until race day. No, don't do that. Your gut is a muscle and it needs to be trained now. Doesn't matter how hard an iron stomach you think you've got, do it. Buy in bulk, spend the gel money where it pays you back, which is going to be during training, not just on the race itself. So ask yourself this question when you do your next long runs. what exact carb grams per hour did you average on that run? How close is that to your target? The recommendation being 60 to 90 grams per hour on average. Another thing you can think about on your back-to-back runs, downhills and hiking practice without destroying yourself. Ultras are one, or at least can be saved by smart hiking, controlled descents, and back-to-backs. You can use those to get in a bit of a groove around both when you're feeling a little bit tired. Poles, if your race allows them. Practice those deploy and stow cycles on the Saturday. Commit to the technique and not just carrying them. Another mistake that I see people make is bombing all of those downhills on the Saturday, and then Sunday you're slogging it out like the Tin Man. Cap those downhills a little bit on the Saturday. The best time to do it is on the Sunday, because then you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to recover from that repeated bout effect of running downhill. So I've mentioned recovery a few times. Adaptations happen between sessions, not inside them. I've had this conversation with somebody today. Training is the stimulus. Recovery is where adaptation happens. So respect those weeks where you're not doing back-to-backs. You can peak again. You will peak the following week. You will get the volume in. Use those opportunities to recover, because that is where those adaptations will happen. Another thing to be mindful of, the evidence shows us that stacking those hard back-to-back long runs, they do increase injury risk. Make sure you're doing your strength work. This will support your durability when we are dosing those back-to-backs. It won't drown it out. So make sure you're doing your strength work in the week and you are focusing on that recovery on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays too. So have a think about what is your non-negotiable Sunday afternoon and Monday routine. All right, Monday, you're probably working. So do you know what? Sit at the desk. Make sure you've got plenty of snacks on your desk. Feet up if you can, if your boss will let you. Or if you're the boss, great. Big lunch. Do 10 minutes on mobility. Get up and walk around the office a bit and write it all down. Write down what it is you're doing so that you can repeat that again the next time. So let's just have a little recap. So ego mileage. If you are ignoring those caps or pace just to make Strava look spicy, or you're trying to prove to somebody who said something on a Facebook group, then you are missing the point. The fix is those caps and that honest effort. Number 2, every week mindset. Back-to-backs are the icing on the cake. They're not the staple. The volume over time is the staple. Those back-to-backs, do them every other week or every 3 weeks with cutbacks in between them too. Number 3, starvation Sundays. Don't do it. Don't underfuel that day too. It is not going to do you any favours at all. Recovery starts within the run itself and fuel the work too. So get your carbohydrates in on the Sunday too. If you avoid all of these, then you are going to cash in on those durability interests, that those checks that you're banking. You are going to take the interest back on race day. So with that, use your back-to-backs if your race or if your weakness demands it. Don't do it because Instagram says so, or that bloke and that Facebook group says so. Cap your Saturday at 5 hours or 22 miles, whichever comes first, and then Sunday 60 to 75% of what you did on Saturday. Keep both of them mostly easy. You can practice hiking. You can practice some of those downhills. Definitely practice your fueling and your kit. And if you are one of these folks at the front of the race trying to take the win or get on the podium or get a high index score for UTMB or ITRA, then maybe you can add in some a fast finish on the Sunday. And with that, folks, if you want help with personalizing all of this around the race that you're doing, your life, all of your commitments, if you don't want to get in trouble for being out there for hours and hours and hours every weekend, and the kids hate you and your wife, or your kids don't know who you are anymore, and your wife or husband or partner or whatever get annoyed with you because you're out all the time, then hit me up at maximummileagecoaching.com. I'll put the link below and come and speak to us, one of me or my team, and we will sort you out. Now, I'll see you out there, and please keep that Sunday under control.